So here's a question for you. As a professional counselor, what are some of the stigmas of counseling, or what are some of the things that prevent people from getting and receiving counseling?
Weakness, which I think you touched on, is a huge one. But also, I think sometimes people still think of counseling as, well, you got to be crazy to go to counseling. And I
Mhm.
am not crazy. I'm
Right.
just sad. I'm not
Okay.
hearing voices. I'm just sad. But really, what I want to remind you is if you break your arm, you're not going to try to set that yourself. I mean, you could be
Yeah.
really terrible results, but
Right.
you're not going to set that yourself. You're going to go to a doctor,
A
right?
professional, right?
Yes. If and so if we have a sadness that we cannot get over, if we have an anxiety that's not going away, that's impacting our daily lives,
Right.
then we're going to go talk to somebody about that, right? You need to go to a professional.
Do you think another stigma would be, especially for believers, is that we have Jesus
Oh, absolutely.
and that he walks with us and we'll be fine. We have the Holy Spirit. And although those things are true, I do think that he did um allow man to become doctors, to become psychologists, to give them the brain, the wisdom, the direction for that. And that's how they help us. I think too often, um, believers think they don't need the help because they have Jesus.
He is our great counselor. I have
Right.
heard that. I've heard that before. And
Yeah.
kind of what I always think about is Jesus had friends,
Right.
right? He did. And
Mhm.
I think that the Lord gave me the personality that I have and the nudging or desire to become a counselor to help other believers,
Yep.
right? Because we don't need to suffer alone. We
Right.
we we really we really don't.
Right.
And the beautiful thing about counseling, especially with kids, and what I tell parents a lot of times is kids enjoy coming to counseling because they go to a counselor, talk about their problems, and then that counselor's not like, great, now go do the dishes, right?
Right.
You can kind of be in a way someone's fun aunt.
Right.
Like, I'll listen to you.
I like that
We'll
role.
we'll make crafts and we'll do this fun stuff and you can get some stuff off your test, right?
Yeah.
Then I'm not going to tell you to do the dishes,
Right.
right? And same thing with an adult. We need an impartial person, right? Whose job is just to listen and
Mhm.
absorb
Yeah.
and then help you figure out your solution.
What are some um things that would say, "Hey, maybe I need to seek counseling"? What are some symptoms that a person should take into recognition of going and seeking help?
Whether adults or children.
Adults or children, yeah, yeah, I mean,
I would say if your daily life is greatly impacted, if you're a kid refusing to go to school,
Mhm.
if you're an adult who cannot get up and go to work, or if you are not engaging with your family like you need to, if you are checking out of life, right? If you are not um, able to shower, eat, those kinds of those kinds of symptoms of depression, certainly.
Mhm.
But if you cannot live your life, if you are lashing out uncontrollably to others, you need to go talk to someone. Really,
Can you be a functional I know this sounds weird. I don't know the correct terminology, but can you be a functional depressed person? Because I feel like the things you mentioned, I didn't really deal with that. Like I could get out of the bed in the morning, I could brush my teeth and brush my hair and do those things, but there was just a sadness that was inside me all the time. And so maybe I didn't display not functioning. I think I was very social after Bella passed away. I think that I engaged and we went to lunch and we talked and we did all the things, but there was just a part of the like inside that I didn't know how to cope with those feelings that were deeper than even just the outside appearance, like getting up and taking a shower.
yeah.
Do you think people should kind of regulate that too about themselves? Like, yeah, I'm functioning, but I still need to talk to
Like,
someone.
how well am I functioning?
Right.
Right? And Evie, you even mentioned it earlier. Like, I would cry all day, every day. Am I being social? Yeah. But am I also crying all day,
Every day.
every day?
Yeah.
Right. Not that you should not be crying in
Right.
that season,
Right.
you know, but I think it's really good because at some point your friends, I'm guilty of this too. Your friends are like, "Can you stop talking about your problems?" Right? You know,
Yeah.
like even our friends
Yeah.
at some point. Um,
My friends just didn't answer the phone. Like,
He's not wrong. I'm just
yeah,
kidding.
yeah.
You know who you are. Anyway.
We'll edit that out.
so
Glad to know you have friends.
Friend, singular. I
Hey,
just throw the
friend.
S on because
Hey,
it
buddy.
fits.
Miss Christie's about to be your friend. Um, but no, I think especially if you have lost someone super close to you, don't hesitate. Give it a few sessions and see if you feel
Right.
any better. At least it just gives you that space to just share.
Yeah, sometimes just getting the stuff off your chest, you can't
Mhm.
do it to, um, for as a spouse, you can't always dump everything on your spouse just because they are going through it themselves, whatever that is, or they are dealing with you and you just don't want to add to
And to
that.
your point, even your friends, I had to learn early on. He would call my friend and I would call his friend when there was like this 911 emergency. And at some point we had to say, okay, stop doing that. Like, we have to get through this ourselves. We have to, we just have to. We can't just keep calling our friends and bogging them down with, because they're dealing with their own emotions. They're dealing with their own daughters. They're dealing with their own things. So I think that's why it's important to seek professional help sometimes outside. That way you can feel free to just say what you need to say.
And there's a lot of power in someone sitting with you and holding your emotions with you and sometimes even for you,
Yeah.
where you feel seen and heard. People
Yeah.
want to feel seen and heard, and you get that in therapy. You are seen and heard.
You made a comment and it's always stuck with me, and you said grief demands a response.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Grief demands an audience.
Not
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've just
Girl,
always
oh
thought
yeah,
of
that
that.
was me.
I forgot I said that. But
Pat
no,
on the
that's
back.
yeah, no, that's very true. Grief demands an audience, and
Mhm.
you're going to get an audience one way or another. I think a super helpful way to get an audience is going and talking to a professional.
I heard another one too, where it said, grief is patient and grief will wait. So when you try to push things down and you don't want to deal with it and you don't want to talk to someone, it'll come up.
It doesn't go away.
It will not go away. You can be 5 years down the line and some song will come on and it'll trigger that memory or that thought and you will just blah. So I think that's why it's so good to I think it's very helpful for us to talk to someone weekly or whatever that looks like for somebody, but we talk to someone weekly.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
what else? So, what are some signs of dealing with grief that are poor? Like, what are some
Don't
you're
do.
you don'ts?
Oh.
Yeah, the don'ts.
Okay, so obviously, if you're like consuming alcohol or drugs, something like that, that's
Right.
very unhealthy, even though I think would probably be widely accepted in
Right, in the society.
society. Like, yeah, go have a drink or something. But if we are, consuming alcohol or drugs to excess, then yeah, you really need to check
Okay.
in with yourself with that. Or if you honestly stop eating.
Mm.
If you are not eating, then you are not taking care of yourself. You are not.
I remember that was one thing you guys would always say when I was in the hospital. Have you eaten today? Are you taking care of yourself? And Kara, that was the RN part. She'd be like, do you need us to go get you a sandwich? Like, do you
Do you
need
need a warm
do
blanket?
you, like, do you need a pillow? Do you need, like, those are things you don't think about when you're going through this
Yeah.
season, especially early on. And so I think those are important.
So, alcohol, drugs, eating either too much or too little.
Mm-hmm.
What else?
Check in with your sleep. Are you like not sleeping at all, like maybe like an hour at a time,
Mhm.
or are you sleeping too much? Right?
Do you think sleep changes in grief? Because I know for me, before Bella went home, I could sleep without no noise.
Mm-hmm.
And now I have to have noise. I have to have rain sounds or white noise or something.
Well, we've talked about it. Your brain has been rewired,
Hmm.
right? And so, yeah, I imagine you're going to have some trouble with sleep. You're probably going to have
Mhm.
to distract your brain enough to where it's comforted to go to sleep. Yeah. Congratulations, you are normal.
Wow.
How exciting.
I think everybody in the world sleeps with a white noise machine. I remember his brother came years ago, came to our house to stay, and it sounded like a jet airplane in there. They were sleeping out in our living room, and I couldn't even sleep because that thing was so loud. I'm like, how do people need these? Like, I wanted to sleep in silence, and now we don't have like a jet airplane in there, but we do have the white noise or the rain or something. And my counselor told me that it was a nerve response.
Mhm.
So when you have high levels of anxiety, and they usually come up at night because that's when things are calm and
Mhm.
quiet, she said you need that rhythmic, that frequency to help settle your nerves. And that's why you do it. So if you're already kind of high
Mhm.
because of what's happened, your nerves are like that.
That's why a lot of people read themselves to sleep or turn on
Yes.
favorite TV shows or movies to fall asleep. Yeah.
See? I'm completely normal.
Completely normal. Yeah.
The one thing that I wanted to add just in the discussion about knowing when to seek counseling is on the flip side, if it's not you, but if you have a friend or family member who says, "Hey, I'm thinking of going to see somebody," be encouraging
Yeah.
and like supportive. It's so hard to admit when you're struggling or that you need help,
Mhm.
but to then have someone discourage you, like
Right.
people can be so easily dismayed.
Yeah.
Just be encouraging and supportive of their choice to do that and help whoever you can,
I would
help them
agree.
help themselves.
I
Yeah.
would agree.
That is nicely said. Yeah.
Beautifully said. Okay, so we're gonna go to the next part, and it's called Hope, Healing, and Growth. Um, so with all of this, we're gonna kind of wrap this up, and we're gonna talk about how the girls honor their friend, and not just this particular situation, because we're appealing to all people who are grieving. How can people honor their loved ones in a healthy way? Um, I know we have some, but we want to hear from you. So, what would you say that the girls have done to honor their friend? You've mentioned the Bella Bear, mentioned dancing. Is there anything else that you could think of specifically that you've let them help?
I think just still talking about her, not pretending like she didn't exist or
Yeah.
pretending that none of that was real. Pointing things out like, oh, look at that. Bella would have liked that. Oh,
Mhm.
yeah, I really think she would have.
Mhm.
The pandas,
Any
finding pandas in the wild, so to speak.
yeah, or anything that's a light pink color.
Right.
Oh, this
Like,
is
Love light
Bella's
pink.
color, I
yeah.
mean
Or
anything.
anything with, like, we were just at Hobby Lobby and there was that wall art with Jeremiah 29:11.
Yeah.
They didn't even have to say, that's Bella's verse. They were just like, I have to have that in my room.
And I was like, yes, you do. Add to cart.
Yeah.
Literally adding
That
to a cart.
So the
summer of
yes
yes,
thing is still going.
it's still kind of there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are, I think it's beautiful what you guys have done for keeping Bella's memory alive. And not even just the girls, but you guys have. Like, I remember the first year we did a birthday party at your house for Bella, and you had a panda cake done, and we let balloons go. And I think it's important for people to, if they embrace the feelings, are able to love that loved one again in a different way. And that's what this is. Grief is about loving your loved one in a different way, not forgetting them, not ignoring that they were ever there or out of sight, out of mind. It's about taking them with you on your life in a beautiful way and making their life meaningful, because they are meaningful. Every single person that we have lost in our life, they were meaningful to us, to someone. And I think that's why it's good to keep their memory alive.
Something that I just to touch on this, I remember watching a YouTube video of Tony Robbins, the motivational speaker, and he talked about the phases of grief. You have the 5 stages or whatever it
Mhm.
is, and he said I would actually say that there was a sixth one, and that sixth one is creation. creating
Mhm.
something, whether it be art, whether it be a dance, shirts,
Foundation.
foundation, anything. But he said because that gives that hurt somewhere to go. You have an avenue for it to.
It gives it purpose.
It gives
You're
it
channeling
purpose.
it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Hence the title.
it's just it was a neat thing, and I mean we started the foundation before I ever saw that, and so it just kind of, well, maybe I'm on the right path of
Mhm.
finding somewhere for this hurt to go.
Mhm.
Doesn't make it not hurt, but at least it gives you an avenue.
It's like the girls starting their dance studio
Yeah.
and calling it Bella Grace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is their way of honoring her. That is their way of moving forward. And they're doing something that they all love to do. I think Gracie and Bella had that plan even before she went home. Like
Yeah.
they had planned that all the girls were going to work at the studio,
Mhm.
and they named all their jobs. And so they're still going forward with that.
Yeah.
Because not just, I mean, she may be gone, but Bella would want us to go forward with it and do
There's
their
probably something in a journal somewhere that says how my papa is going to fund my dance studio. So
I'm sure they were gonna all like pitch the dads. They were gonna do a what is it?
investor meeting.
Yes. PowerPoint. Okay. What does healing look like in your family now? So it's been a year and a half. We still hurt. I mean, we cried this weekend, at a I think you were pretty strong, but me and
I
Lace.
cried in the bathroom with a stranger.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
we're still working on her.
And that's okay.
And that's okay.
It was okay.
It was.
She was glad that I found her in the bathroom and that we cried together. So
Those
it
are
was good.
important moments, and it's
Yeah.
okay. We still have them. And so, with that being said, what does the healing look like in your house and with the family?
I think, I don't know if this directly answers that question. It's just what came to my mind. But what's been really healing, I think, for all of us is just, I call them God wink moments, like little moments when God's just like winking at you. My eyes twitching.
Or God twitching.
Is that winking or is that?
It's a wink, not a twitch.
Okay.
But like, okay, so like when the girls were at that dance conference last year and there was that little girl in the room and she wasn't with her studio friends. She was just there alone and she like wanted to hang out with our girls and her name was Isabella. Right. And then we find out more about her story. And there were just so many like connections that like this was not a coincidence. This was a God appointed, ordained moment for us to meet you. And there's just been so many of those little things over the year. And when you see them, it's like God's given you a hug, right? Like he's like, I see you guys. I know you're hurting still. I know you're healing, but like, I see it. And it's just been healing to see those moments and then to share them with Nora, to talk about them. It helps her to know that like her father in heaven is still watching over her and all of us.
And that Bella still thinks about them too. And she's part of the great cloud of witnesses, and she's cheering them on from up there. And she's praying for them. And I think what the most beautiful thing I heard someone tell me is that Bella sees them complete. He sees them the way God sees them. There's no mistakes. There's no imperfections. He sees all of her friends the way he sees them.
She sees.
Yeah, she sees them the way God sees them. And I think that's so beautiful because that's something that the girls can know, that Bella doesn't see anything negative. There's no missing. There's no sad. She just sees the joy in them fulfilling what God has for them. She sees it. And I think that's so cool. When Gabe told us that, I thought it was really cool.
Yeah. So for you,
For you.
what is the healing look? And you kind of, I think, touched on it earlier, but what does healing look like within the family, like unit?
I think it's when we can share stories about Bella and smile and not be so broken, right? It's talking about our Bella Grace dance studio right? Trademark. Do we need to
We
say
can
to
trademark
We
it.
someone?
Better-
need to.
Yeah.
we better-
There's
better-
probably several Bella Grace dance studios in the world.
But do they
We're-
have a panda mask?
Right.
And if you
Right.
don't get one, because that is ours.
Yes, we're
We're coming for
registered,
you.
trademark, all of it, saying it out loud. But I think it's being able to talk about their friend. And even Gracie had made a comment about maybe some dancer who was struggling with something over the summer. And Gracie's like, well, if Bella was here, she would not be struggling because Bella would be praying for her and Bella would be helping her. And, just
That was a great imitation of Gracie, by the way. You have that
excellent.
down.
Yes, 1000%. But I just think Bella is so woven in our everyday lives. At one point, it felt like this heavy weight that we were carrying everywhere, and at some point, it's like I'm gonna put this down, but I don't want to leave my friend behind. And for some, she's found a way to put it in her pocket and carry it with her always. So it's not. It's just ingrained all through her. Um, I don't know how else to say that.
The way that was described to me one time was you're pulling this heavy weight, and over time that heavy weight turns into a helium filled balloon, and so no longer is it you're pulling it, but it is pulling you, because you're going towards that instead of trying to drag something. So
Yeah. You're going towards God's purpose instead of just feeling like you're dragging your old life behind you. Now you're fulfilling something. I think he's gonna use the girls a lot through this. So we're gonna wrap this up, and it's been so much fun. I love this. This is fun. I love that you guys came on. Thank you. Even though Kara didn't want to, I'm so grateful that you did.
No, hold on. I wanted to help you. I'm just not a microphone person.
Yes, and in
Or a
their
video
defense,
camera.
I have dragged them through a lot of stuff this last year and a half.
Also,
so-
we did have to revisit some very painful things.
We did. This is not easy, and we did great.
I will say I appreciate you guys,
Mhm.
for everything that you guys have done thus far. Doing this, being a part of this, and we've seen a lot of crazy times over those last year and a half. But I appreciate, you guys being willing to come on here and talk and share some feelings. And yeah,
No, it's not easy.
yeah, it's definitely not easy. But we appreciate the insight, and prayerfully this helps somebody in their journey and finding purpose in grief.
And for one last question, what message would you share with parents who are at the very beginning of this journey?
Well, I'll go first because I know my answer to this, which I'll tell you the story, the lady in the bathroom.
Okay.
So at competition, another studio had lost a dancer and they did a dance in honor of their dancer.
Mhm.
Well, later I was in the bathroom and I got done washing my hands and I saw a mom with a t-shirt advertising that studio. And I just went up to her and I said, I am so sorry about your loss. I said, we're at our studio, we lost a dancer and we did a dance to her last year. And I just told her, I honestly, not everyone can say this to you, but I know exactly how you're feeling.
Right.
And it was terrible. Was the worst year of our lives. And at some point though, we got on the other side of it. And I just told her it gets so much better.
Yeah.
But just hold on in the interim because at some point you will be able to breathe again. You will be able to sleep again. Your daughter will feel better.
They had just lost somebody at their dance studio.
Yeah, it'd been like a couple months before.
I think it
right?
was in December.
We sent
Okay.
Bella Bears to them.
Okay,
Mhm.
I know which one. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And so she just thanked me for saying it. And then I just found you and started crying. So,
Yeah.
Yes. Then in turn made me cry.
yeah.
Well, but that's it, right? The sufferings that we go through, we can use our experience to turn around and help others. And that's the purpose that we find it in.
Yeah.
Mhm. It's a testimony.
It's part of the testimony. I remember, I think it was Courtney saw something probably on Instagram, but it said something about
More than
like,
likely.
yeah, you can't protect your children from their testimony.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh. That is so
That is
good.
a
Yeah,
mic
like
drop
we
moment.
we cannot
Yes.
protect them
Yeah.
from any hard thing.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that this is a part of who they are.
I think that's what I'm
Yeah.
so amazed by you guys is how well you've allowed your girls to feel all the feelings, to live out all of it. You didn't have them suppress it or let's not talk about it or let's just move on. You didn't do any of that. You let them feel all the feelings. And I think that's why I wanted you guys on, because I know that there are other people out there. I mean, just alone, look at all the kids. I tell you all the time, the mothers that I'm getting calls from that they lost their kids. Well, those kids had friends. Those kids are dealing with the things that your kids are going through. And I thought, oh my gosh, my friends are great at this process. Like they've done an amazing job. The girls are so well adjusted. They're able to do hard things. They've turned something so tragic into something so beautiful. And they've also learned what they can handle and what they can't. I respect that so much about them. You know, we're doing another dance and Nora could not do it. I respected that about her. Like she's learning boundaries. She's learning this is what I can handle this. And Gracie's like, I'm all in. And you know what? That is so beautiful because they encourage each other. They don't try to force it on each other. They don't, oh, well, why aren't you doing it? What, is they just love each other where they're at. And I think they have grown so much in this year and a half. They've come into being young women, and I think this is just like you said, is just part of their journey. And they've had to grow up faster than some kids because of this. So thank you to both of you for being such amazing moms. You guys are both really great moms and really great friends. At least to me. I don't know about to you, but to me they're really good friends.
They have answered the call. Every time I call, they've answered.
They have answered the call one way or the other.
So
we show up even without permission.
Yes.
Show up.
Even, and they bring chocolate and cheese. And who could ask for better friends when they bring chocolate and cheese? So.
I gotta tell you, every single dance event we've had since Bella has passed, I've brought a giant bag of Dove chocolate. Also, Dove's not paying me to say that, but I'm bringing a giant bag of chocolate and it is gone. Like the entire weekend.
I want to know where that chocolate was this past weekend.
It was in Gracie's bag.
It was in Gracie's bag and it was gone.
Okay.
Like by the end, like within like maybe like a 45-minute time period, it was just.
Well, we have passed on our love for chocolate. That's good.
I mean, that we're in those high emotions.
Yeah.
We learned pretty quickly that we just needed something.
Chocolate and Jesus. That's the world is a much better place with chocolate and Jesus.
I thought you said Jesus.
Okay.
Chocolate and Jesus.
Thank you for joining Finding Purpose in Grief.